Welcome to the show where I take a look at someone's personal finances and find ways to overcome bad financial situations or meet the financial goals they're trying to achieve. And make sure to subscribe as one of the first 50,000 subscribers here. Will win $1,000 and we are incredibly close. But with that, my name is Caleb Hammer. Today we are meeting with Candelario. How are you? Where are you based out of? What's your age?
What's up, guys? My name is Candelario. I'm based out of Orlando, Florida. I'm 23 years old, and yeah, that's me.
What do you do for a living?
I am an accountant. I'm probably the first accountant on this show that doesn't know what to do with their money. But yeah, I'm an accountant. I was working at a public accounting firm full time for the past year and a half. But I'm transitioning into a new role in January, so I'm excited about that.
What's the new role going to be?
I'm going to be working for Disney in a accounting and finance rotation. Hopefully in the future I can get more into the finance side because I feel like there's more opportunities for growth in pay and advancement in that area, but we'll be doing both.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that new role. What are you making now and what are you going to make?
So I was making 58K pre-tax. And this new role I'm going to be making 65K plus overtime.
Okay, so it's an hourly rate then?
Well, I'm on salary, but I'm sure there's going to be like an hourly component with this new job.
Okay, so yeah, plus overtime. Do you have any insight into how common overtime is?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I've worked in like other industry roles in the past, and typically when you're doing month end close, you probably do an extra 10, 15 hours towards the end of the month per week. So I can expect that to be the same.
Okay, so maybe you'll get an extra 1,000, 2,000 hours a year, maybe.
Well, what my recruiter had told me is that typically you'll earn enough overtime through the year where you'll probably hit 70, 75K. But I'm going to say 70 to be.
Okay. And that's all pre-taxes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you will probably be bringing in, if we include that overtime on an average monthly basis, post-tax, something along, I'm going to say $5,166.
A month?
Yeah, post-taxes.
So I've also done a little bit of, I ran a little bit of numbers myself, and I kind of projected closer to 4,000, 4,500 after deductions, of course.
Well, were you taking into account your overtime with that?
I did not.
So that's what I was doing. I was averaging it out with the overtime that you said you'll probably hit. So, I mean, we can do like the 4,500. Even there, maybe I was just a little too generous with what would be taken away, but yeah, we can say 4,750, kind of meet in the middle, and we'll call that like an average. And I think it's okay to be more on the conservative side, especially when it comes to looking at finances. But speaking of finances, what is your financial situation? What might I be able to help with?
So I would say that I'm getting on the right path in terms of my finances. I've been saving a lot of money recently. I've been living at home with my parents for the past 6 months. Prior to that, I was kind of in a hole. Prior to moving home, I probably had like 1,500 on my credit card, and that was really nerve-wracking. But I've been able to pay it off since then, and I could pretty much keep like a zero balance for the most part. But yeah, I think I'm in a good place. What's really concerning me right now is that so with this new job, I'm going to be starting out my rotation. I've just received the word officially that I'm going to be starting my first rotation here in Orlando. So I'll still be able to live at home for the next 6 months. But after those 6 months, I'm going to be moving to LA, and that's going to be a big lifestyle adjustment because I'm going to have to pay a lot more taxes probably, because there's no state income tax in Florida compared to California. I'm going to need to find a place to live, of course. So I'm pretty nervous about that. I think that I can handle it, but
You really have no choice of where you're based out of?
Well, originally I was supposed to move there in January, but I kind of negotiated with them that, hey, it's not going to be feasible for me to just jump straight into LA living in 2 months, so I'm gonna need some time. And so they worked with me on that, and I mean, I kind of had a choice. I'm still actively employed at my current firm, but it wasn't working out for me. I've been working from home, and I kind of hate it, to be honest. So
Oh man.
this is what I'm doing.
Okay. I mean, after taxes and after most, your taxes will be meh because you're not in like a crazy tax bracket for the state income tax there. But what's really going to impact you is the cost of living. And Orlando's not necessarily a cheap city by any means, but LA is just ridiculous. I think you might be taking a pay cut after all that.
Yeah, and I think so as well. um, the good thing is that I'm not paying. I mean, I have a car loan out right now, but I'm not paying for it. My parents thankfully are handling it. I'm just like a co-signer on that. In the future, I might have to start paying it, but I don't think that's going to be coming in for a while.
Well,
And as far as everything else goes, I mean, I pay for my own health insurance and everything else, but I'm not paying for car insurance. I'm not paying for my car note. I'm not paying for my phone bill. So I have a little bit of leeway to work with.
it's so weird that you're not paying for the car loan, but you are paying for your health insurance, even though you're under 26. It's kind of the backwards for the average person. But I mean, you talked about maybe having to pick this up at some point. What was like the agreement here? Is there anything even acknowledged by you and your parents for this?
So this was a graduation gift for my for when I graduated with my bachelor's degree. Um, we talked about it, and they just want me to be set up for the future. I mean, my dad has been like kind of like messing with me about it, but I don't see him moving it to giving me the responsibility for it for the next year, 2 years, and the term of the loan is already pretty short. We got it for like 29,000, and I think this balance is like 19,000. So like in a year or two, I'll be making more money by that point as well. So
Okay, yeah, I see it here. So $522 a month payment. Yeah, that would suck to have moving to that stupid expensive city. $19,000. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Don't see the interest rate on this or the term length.
yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you the interest rate I have on it myself. My dad just kind of gave it to me when I graduated. So
Okay, have they agreed upon paying the remainder of it until it's done?
what was that?
Have they agreed on paying the remainder of it until it's just paid off?
I think that that's the plan.
Okay, well, confirm. That needs to be confirmed. Because, I mean, not that they would be bad people if they did that, or not that they, want to get rid of it, or not that, whatever. It doesn't even matter the situation. What matters most is that you prepare. So getting some insight into what they think. If they want to take care of it, great. If they're like, okay, maybe at some point, maybe you need to start taking it over. We've paid, like $15,000 at a certain point, and that's a good graduation gift because that's a great graduation gift, $15,000 essentially. Then you would just prepare for that situation. So just get some more insight, and then that changes slightly what we end up talking about. But going off of what you say, we'll just take it as they are paying for it. How long have you had it? Oh, open date 2020. So it looks like this is probably a 5 or 6 year term.
Yeah, it's like a 5 to 6 year term.
Okay. And then you said mostly, or I forgot the exact phrase you said, but something about, I don't keep a balance on my credit card most of the time. What does most of the time mean? Do you keep balances on your credit card?
So I'm saying most of the time because typically it's just less than $100 usually. I know my credit card balance for my last statement in November, I think I ended with like $11. In December, I've kept it at zero for the most part.
Well, you didn't have any interest charged in the previous month. Let me see if I can see total interest charged year to date, $40.13. Not like that's crazy. 17% interest, rounded up 18. Not like that's a crazy number by any means, but you're certainly negating the whatever bonuses you might be getting with this card. And at that point, what's even the point? I mean, I guess building credit, but still. So you did $900 of purchases, slightly rounded up. Smoke shop, milk tea, racetrack, Crunchyroll, Boggy Creek, MetLife. I mean, this is all fun spending on here.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, that's $900 of BS spent on there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I spend money on BS because it fits in my budget and the category that it's supposed to be in. That's fine, but we need to look at the entire situation. You mentioned starting to save money aggressively lately, so let's see that. Okay, so your savings started at $3,458. You put $925 in there. Great. $4,383 is now the total balance. It's sitting in a account. I don't know why you have it in Wells Fargo at 0.07% interest when you could be earning close to 4% interest at this point. I mean, okay, yes, my net worth video just came out and I did something similar in my checking account, but that's because I'm in a transitionary period. You're not. You're putting money directly into this on purpose. So, let's put this into something that's at least keeping up with normal inflation or beating normal inflation, actually, at this point. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I've been researching it. I've just been thinking whether or not I want to put it into like a Marcus, or I know SoFi has some pretty interesting stuff recently, and I've been considering just like opening up a checking with SoFi right now because I know that it's a bigger branch on the West Coast. I don't know how Wells Fargo is comparatively over there, but I was thinking about that too. So yeah, I'm definitely planning on doing that in the future. I've kind of been thinking about it for a while since I've started watching your channel, because you always mention that. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, it's an important thing to do. Now, if it was just money coming in a checking account and, we're planning on the move and things are a little bit in flux, that would be okay. But you're deliberately transferring it somewhere. So let's transfer it somewhere that makes money. Your checking account started with $304. That's scary. And it's actually kind of a low number for someone who lives at home. And then you ended with $364. $3,700 went in. Obviously, your pay increase will be great and add to that. $3,641 went out. So let's see where your money is going. A Lowe's payment. I don't know why you would be going to Lowe's. There is some grocery, but there's also like Longhorn Steakhouse and Xbox Prime Video. You have a lot of, what's this transfer way to save savings? Is that your savings?
Yeah, so you'll see that my withdrawals and my deposits are kind of evenly matched. That's just because whenever you make a transfer, it doesn't reflect as an in-system like account transfer. So a big percentage of those subtractions are just transfers to my savings accounts or account.
Okay.
And I keep a low balance on my debit card just because I try not to. I mean, I just try to put as much money as possible into my savings right now. Right now in December, I have like about $850 in my checking currently, and my savings is like around $6,000 now.
Sure.
So it's just what it is.
And the rest of it, scrolling on screen, it's just a lot more fun. You have some subscriptions and you're eating out and Amazon Prime purchases. So a lot going on there. And then there's a small remainder on the next page, Hooters. Because, fine dining there, $25. So, yeah, for someone, I don't know. You are spending a lot on fun, maybe more than I would, and you might feel like you're able to right now because you live at home, you don't have rent, so that's okay. Oh, there's something else. What is this? Okay, well, what is this? $46,875 of loan. Loan through who? What is this?
That is my student loans.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's a 4.4% interest, so that's not... Oh, wait, no, that's Group A. So Group B, 4.5. And then, Group C is ticking up to 5. Group D up to 5. Group E back down to 4.5. 4.5 for the next one. 4.5 for the next one. 2.7 for H. That's great. 2.7 for I, 5.2 for J. Okay. Well, there's $0 in that one anyway, so $0. Oh, no, that's fees. Outstanding balance. Ooh, outstanding balance for the highest 5.2 is 20,000. So your lower interest ones have the smaller balance than that high interest. Well, it's not like aggressively high, but it's higher than I am comfortable with for leaving it versus paying it off. So we're going to essentially say, in my mind, you have $20,000 of student loans that need to be paid off.
Hey, well, that actually makes me feel a lot better.
Well, I mean, to be clear, we're paying off all the student loans, but we're not going to freak out about the ones that make no mathematical sense to pay off because we put math over our caveman brain. So,
For sure.
I mean, whatever you decide to do is fine. It's not official financial advice. Only what I would do, were I in your shoes, anyone who I am not against necessarily someone who wants to pay off student loans early if it keeps them up at night. That's a psychological thing. That's something that I think is more of a mental health thing that can be worked through because, again, math should always win. But yes, there are emotions and behaviors that would drive people to just pay off the debt early, even though technically it makes no sense, but it's okay to do if it makes them feel better in life. They will get to wealth quicker if they invest, mathematically speaking, if they invest the remainder that they would be paying over the minimum monthly payment. Now, if you are going to instead pay the minimum monthly payment and then spend what would be invested instead on fun, then that's just stupid because you're not beating the math in that point. At that point, pay it off early. So, I mean, that's a little extra nuance when it comes to that. But if you're putting in like the S&P 500, obviously 10% is going to beat 4%. So we do that. 5% over that 4% rule. That's where it's not crazy high, but that's where I would start paying it off early. And that's where half of it is at 20,000.
Yeah. I was just really stupid. I mean, I feel like I don't have as much as I probably compared to other people. I mean, I finished my bachelor's and my master's degree in 5 years. So that's why the balance isn't like super crazy, but I definitely did take out some loans that I didn't need to. And that $20,000 loan, I mean, I graduated with like $25,000 in debt. But when I went back for my master's degree, I had expected not to pay like nearly anything because I had a like graduate assistant position at my school. But I ended up not reading the terms correctly, and I had to pay a lot more for my personal living expenses than I originally anticipated. So that was kind of like a last minute decision. We're like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to survive this year unless I take it. But yeah, definitely taking your advice there.
So this is something you wouldn't want to do and you won't do, but I got to say, because it's actually what I would do in this situation. I would tell the new job, thank you, but no thank you. I would stay in my current position, live at home for another 6 months, not spend a single cent on fun, pay off that $20,000 as quick as I can because I have no expenses except for maybe gas and then, again, your own insurance, and pay off that $20,000, which you can on a $60,000 income very, very, very quickly. And then after that, get whatever job you want. However, I don't think that's in the option for you from this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so early into my career, and honestly, my performance at my old job, in my own point of view, hasn't been like the most stellar. I'm typically a pretty like hard worker. Like I have like goals I aim towards, but working from home just has not been it for me. It was like really taxing on my mental, and I think this new opportunity, I think it's just going to be a lot more fun for me, a lot more rewarding.
Well, again, as you just said at the beginning, you're early in your career, so that could go both ways. You're early in your career. I would rather take 6 months of sacrificing being a little less happy right now in order to pay off the $20,000 like immediately and then have the dream career for the rest of our lives. Instead of moving into the dream career now, but having that $20,000 be paid off slower, especially since you're going to be paying LA rent, even with roommates, is going to be ridiculous since you're now going to have state income taxes as well. So
Yeah, I kind of already talked to my old boss about the whole new job situation too. So it's just not it's just what it is, man. I know it's probably not the smartest decision, but I'm honestly super excited for it, and it's my really only option.
yeah, I mean, again, that's kind of the That's a caveman brain thing doing us picking the thing we're excited about. That's just our instinctive, biological caveman brain going instead of choosing what's best for us in the moment. I don't think this is good. I don't think what you're choosing out is a destructive, bad choice by any means. It's not the choice I would make. It's the choice you're going to make. We already know that. Again, wouldn't do it, but we will go off of that choice because it is, unfortunately, the one that you will choose. So what month do you need to move to LA?
So I'm going to be moving to LA at the end of July.
July. Okay. Until then, well, are you at your new job yet? When do you start this new job and the new pay?
I start the new job and the new pay January 31st.
Okay. So until then, I essentially, not official financial advice, if I were in your shoes, I would not be spending all that money on BS anymore at all until then, because we're about to have a very expensive thing. You need to have a fully funded emergency fund, and we should try to get this $20,000 paid off as quick as possible. Most important, because student loan interest is not accruing right now, I would change that $6,000 to $15,000 because your rent's going to be stupid. So I would get to $15,000 as quick as possible with your $3,700 that's coming in every month, because you have no expenses other than your insurance, maybe a little bit of groceries and gas. I would be putting basically $2,750 of that $3,750, my best guess right now, into your savings, into a high yield savings account. Now, once you hit 15,000, I would keep up the intensity until your movement and start attacking this high interest student loans. Because even if student loans are forgiven, which I don't think they're going to be at this point, even if they are, it's not going to forgive all your student loans early, so it's not bad if you hit them now. One thing you could do is just continue to save it in that $15,000 fund. You just continue to save more and more and more and more, but $15,000 is your emergency fund. Maybe you put it in a different bucket or a different account, essentially, and because it'll at least be accruing interest while the student loans are not. And then once student loans start back up, then you put everything outside of that $15,000 you saved up towards that higher interest one, and then pay minimum monthly payments on all the other ones until they then go away, and then invest the rest that you would throw towards it that is not going towards it instead. Not going to just fun. And then come spring, you're immediately on roommate websites and trying to get roommates, because you're not going to live by yourself, not for your first year or two there. You are finding roommates. You're not going to really know them other than the online talk, maybe a couple video chats, but it is what it is. You're going to be living that young 20s, moving to a new city thing that a lot of people get to live.
Yeah, thankfully I have some family and a lot of friends over there already. So for the roommate thing, I'm thinking I'm going to be able to find, I'm going to be able to shack up with one of my homies to start out with. So I think hopefully I'm going to be okay on that front. But yes, definitely do not want to live on my own in like a 500 or like a 200 square foot studio apartment in like a bad neighborhood. So yeah, I'm going to be on that roommate.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully that works out. Whatever you do, get the cheapest rent possible for the next, at least until those higher interest student loans are paid off.
Yeah. And I will say, after each rotation, I am like being evaluated for my performance. So typically I will be receiving a pay bump anywhere between every 6 months or every year. So that is something to look forward to, at least.
Good. And then don't lifestyle inflate yourself. I would invest all those bonuses you get, essentially, really, or increases. At some point, because there's not a retirement account on here that you sent me, once that, go ahead.
I do have like $1,500 in like a 401k.
Yeah, we want to start boosting that up.
I haven't been contributing to it though, because I have been talking with my recruiter for the past month and a half, and originally the plan was to move straight into LA, so I kind of stopped making contributions to it in order to like start building up some more money, but thankfully not the case anymore.
I would take at least up to the match while you're paying off that higher interest student loans, and then try to then after that you'll already have your emergency fund. So 20% of your post-tax income on a monthly or annual basis, however you want to look at it, towards your retirement.
For sure. Yeah, and I've already calculated my minimum monthly payment for my student loans. It's gonna be like 280. So it's not the most impactful thing, but definitely gonna start paying it down.
Yeah, every little bit certainly takes away from you when you live in one of the most expensive cities in the country. So we got to be careful, but yeah, I think that's a relatively good plan. Just really sacrifice until you move, get that $15,000 and try to save up to pay off this $20,000 as much as possible by then. And you have no expenses. So what expenses you have are essentially your choice outside of insurance and gas. So choose not to have any. Temporary sacrifice. It's worth it.
For sure, man. Definitely gonna be doing that.
How do you say your name again?
Candelario, or we said Candelario.
Candelario.
Yeah.
For Candelario, some interesting car debt that he is on, but his parents are paying for. He also has those student loans, some of which are at an uncomfortable, but not insane interest rate. A little bit of savings, moving across the country with not too much, but I think he can get to a really good financial place soon. Right now, I think I'm going to give him a Hammer Financial score 5 out of 10. I want him to be at a 7 out of 10 before he moves out there. And then by the time he's in at like 28, I want him to be at like a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. Make sure to follow the links in the description, including my socials, and subscribe. Thanks.